Welcome to Club Damingo, brought to you by Cyclone Comics.
Okay. Good morning, Tim.
Hello, Gary.
It's
Is
very
it still
cold.
morning? It took us forever for me to get here. I'm sorry.
Yes,
It's a good, like we were saying, it's a good thing we don't do this live because it would be late every time.
yeah, that's true. Tech problems. But anyway, we're here now, and we're
Yeah,
talking, and it's up to me to invent some things to talk about. Is this correct?
this is correct. Let's start with the weather. Look at you, all rugged up with your fingerless gloves and
Yeah,
your
yeah,
moto
yeah.
beanie and
I was saying to you earlier that the toilet was minus, the bathroom was -5 this morning,
unbelievable,
and
unbelievable.
the little bomb app said it feels like -8, so it's even worse.
When you've got when you've got when you got yourself dangling in the wind, it feels like -8. Yeah.
What is it?
I'll
The
be
water's
taking off
cold
my
and it's
long
deep too.
sleeves. I'll be taking off my long sleeves later. It's going to be 20, maybe 21 here today. I'm opening up the house and letting in some warm air.
Well, yeah, so I've opened up the house to let the cold air out and let the outside air
That's
in.
right.
Yeah, because I think the fridge effect is happening in my house at the moment. And the dogs are
Yeah.
looking at me as if to say, "Where is the fire?"
All right.
And
Where
I
is the fire, Gary? You not
and
got
I
a
said, "The
fire range?
fire is that fireball up in the sky, dogs. Look at that and rub your hands together."
Let me look. It's currently 12 where you are right now. Oh my goodness, it started off, less than zero. Jiminy Cricket,
Jiminy cricket, yeah, indeed.
you you goose. But you love it,
So
right? You
anyway,
love Taswegia.
we have to talk about get a heated conversation going to stay warm.
Yeah, okay. All right, what's the go?
Well, what have you been up to this week? Anything interesting on the GP front, or have you
Nothing I
just?
can, nothing I can really talk about. No,
Yeah, okay.
like
What
there
T-shirt
is
are you
stuff
got on?
happening, and you told you said let's start recording, and I had news to tell you about the movie that I can't really tell on air because
Okay.
it's all up in the air, but exciting maybes happening.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's
Okay, we'll wait till we
yeah.
stop recording and you can fill me in on the maybes.
I will make
Yeah.
sure I let you know. Yeah.
Well, first cab off the rank this morning. It's the 25th of August, and it's Daniel Best's birthday today.
Is it Daniel Best's birthday today?
Yes, while we're recording.
Oh my God.
In fact,
Happy birthday,
all
Daniel
day
Best.
until
Yeah,
midnight.
there you go. It works like that.
Yeah. So
Although a little bit past our midnight because
Yeah,
he's
so
a little bit
a
further
friend
west.
to us both, and a friend to the show. So happy birthday, Danny! And I texted him this morning that Lyndall might have to get some bail money out if he celebrates too hard.
That's right. Did you know I saw him the other day? He was in Sydney and we had dinner.
No,
There you
that's
go.
news.
There's some news. Yeah, there's some news. Because it was somebody else's birthday. I don't know if I'm allowed to say whose birthday it was because they like to keep it on the down low. So anyway, well, regardless of birthdays, we went out for dinner because Danny Best was in town. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
Amory and I and Lyndall and Daniel, we had dinner at Gowings. You remember Gowings in
Gowings.
Sydney,
I
right?
used to buy all of my clothing from Gowings,
I bought my fair share of clothing from
and
Gowings.
I'd go in there for a decent haircut as well.
That's right. They had their own barber shop and everything.
Corner of
Um,
George and I've forgotten.
Market, I think it's Market.
Yeah, George
The
and
the,
Market.
the, the
Yeah,
State Theatre is on the same
yeah,
street as that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you know what it is now? Gowings?
No, what is it?
It's a restaurant. It's a really lovely restaurant.
Can you still get a haircut there?
No, is that a euphemism for spending a lot of money on a steak? Uh,
Euphemisms.
so the State Theatre in Sydney is a beautiful theatre and it's often used for commercials and film sets, etc. I think it was in The Great Gatsby as part of the house that Gatsby lived in and stuff like that. And right next to it is a little cafe, which now is owned by the QT branded hotels, QT. And that little cafe I haven't eaten in, but it looks amazing and I really want to because it's all this crazy, beautiful Art Deco, really dark and gold Art Deco. And then Gowings was above that. And as I said to Danny Best, I was tempted to wear the shirt and the coat that I still I still wear on a regular basis that I bought at Gowings over 30 years ago because
Yeah.
the quality was that good. I've still got a bright red shirt that is still bright red, and a lovely coat which is just about on its last legs, unfortunately. And I said the what's the advertising slogan for a while was "Gone to Gowings."
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the
Got to get to
slogan.
Gowings, gone to Gowings.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I knew that they'd shut down, and I think the neon sign is heritage, so that neon sign is still there on the street, and I knew that they'd turned it into a restaurant, and I said I've got to go and see what this restaurant is like. So a number of years ago, and I think Anne-Marie said it might have been pre-COVID, so I can't believe it was that long ago, but maybe it was. So we went there, I think, for some other event of ours, because it's not the cheapest restaurant. It's part of a QT hotel, and they're a little bit kind of trendy and groovy, a
Right.
little bit
Right.
upmarket.
Well, we're talking about
So
Sydney
it's not the
Centre as well.
cheapest restaurant, but that's right, exactly, yeah. So, but the food was great, and the atmosphere is really cool, really groovy inside, and yeah, it was good. So yeah, we
Is there,
told lots of stories about comics and whatnot.
yeah, I bet a lot of ground covered
Go
there.
ahead.
Yes. The cafe next to the State Cinema, upstairs from that, there's a bar, really nice bar on the first floor, I think. That's like next to the State Theatre, but upstairs. So it runs alongside the State.
Right.
I'm just saying that there's a really nice
Right.
bar and restaurant there. I think it's a bar mainly. But have
How
you?
long ago was that?
When I was in
Because they might not be
Sydney,
there anymore.
it may not be. I haven't been to Sydney for
Mm.
a while, but I went with my family. Within the last 5 years.
Right. So when you're looking at the State Theatre looking at it from the street, is it on the right hand side
It's
or
on
the
the
left
right.
hand side?
It's on the right, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
and upstairs.
I'd say that that's all QT hotel now. And yes,
Okay.
I think they've got a bar on that level, but I don't know. We didn't stick in that bar, so I don't know.
Right,
But
okay.
that's the bar and then the restaurant. So maybe you've gone to Gowings and you didn't even know. I would say you
maybe.
did.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so yeah, Danny Best always good for a comic book chat and a movie chat.
Yes.
He's across both
Yes.
subjects quite diligently, and he's got his 20th Century Danny Boy Substack.
Yes.
Boo, Substack. Yay, Danny Best Substack. Boo, Substack. Yay,
Is
Danny
it really?
Best Substack.
Is it Boo Substack? I thought we talked it up last week pretty well. I know. Look, look big while you're booing Substack. There is a controversy with them in that it seems that a number of quite right wing, inverted commas, not inverted commas, Nazis use it as a platform, and that Substack doesn't look like they're doing anything about it.
Yeah,
so I know a number of people leave the platform once they realize that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just I probably should have brought that up last week, but I didn't even think of it. So
yeah.
There's that.
So there's the promoting free speech, but then there's the promoting free speech.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Double-edged sword.
And speaking of free speech, dinner with Danny Best, there was lots of free speech at the table, and the rule of the table was what's spoken about at the table did not leave the table. So because Daniel knows things and where certain bodies are buried, etc. So yeah.
Wow. I can yes. Knowing Danny, it almost could be a literal thing, that.
Yeah, that's true too. Absolutely. And he's Adelaide based, so you'll see him when you go to Paper Cuts. He'll be around for sure. Big supporter of Paper Cuts. He thinks it's a wonderful event, which it is. Big supporter of Owen and Gina, who are running it. So you'll see him there. And he had, have I got one sitting around? He had last Paper Cuts. He had a sketchbook which he brought last night. Not last night, the other night. And I just left somewhere and people were drawing in it, and somebody actually thought it was my sketchbook. Because that's the thing I do, right? I bring a sketchbook and ask all the cartoons to draw in it. So that's mine from last year. I've only got a couple of drawings in the one from this year so far. So if you're coming to any convention that I'm at, please feel free to even ask me
to draw in Danny's
sketchbook. My sketchbook, in Tim's sketchbook. But also, if you see it rolling around, it will look like this, but with a red spine this year. I really love it. I don't have my collection here; it's downstairs, but I've got a collection of like over 50 of varying sizes down to A6,
How many?
91.
Over 50?
Good fit, about 50, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
For a while there, I would, because going to conventions a lot, especially when I was involved with one of the conventions. Um, I would be, taking basically a brand new one almost every time. So some of them are very thin. And like last year, I decided I'd just have one for the whole year, which seems to be a better thing to do now rather than taking one every
Yep.
year. And
Yep.
I mean, every convention. So that's how that kind of happened. Yeah, I've got 50. I'm just looking at my database on my phone.
Oh,
Um,
right. Okay. You have, oh, God, you are so
So
anal.
yeah, do you want to know who? Yeah, it- when I have time in the ADHD or what is it, OH and S or whatever it's called, really gets to me. I think
Oh.
they're related, right? Your occupational health and safety. Um, but yeah, you want to know who's drawn the most pictures in my sketchbook collection?
In your sketchbook collection. It's not me, that's for sure. Because,
No, you've done a few,
yeah,
but
yeah, I don't like doing them though.
no. So, and I'm always grateful that you did. Thank you.
Who? I could guess.
Go ahead,
Uh,
try a guess.
Dean Rankin.
Oh, no, he's hard to get actually.
And he charge it. No,
Um,
he wouldn't charge for that, would he? I don't know. Would he? I'm about to talk about Dean anyway. But anyway,
okay,
who is on the?
looks like Dean is in six of these from
Oh,
2006 to 2015. Actually, I've got one that I haven't put into the database, so it's probably seven of the sketchbooks, and it's not Dean. It's somebody who's been in one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11 of my sketchbooks. And in one of the sketchbooks, I think they could be in four times in the one sketchbook. And that's how they ended up being the most prolific in the sketchbook. So that would be,
give me a hint. I'll have one more guess. But
no,
give me
you won't guess it. You won't get it. It's Alisha Jade.
Oh,
Uh,
right. Wow. Yeah.
yeah, because it got a, this is the reason why people saw Danny Best's sketchbook and said, "Is McEwen here because his sketchbook is being passed around?" Is because like from the early 2000s onwards, like it was a little bit before that, it was pretty well known that there would be a sketchbook at the event from Tim McEwen, and could you please draw in it? And everybody would draw in it. I think because I had quite a large break. I think a lot of people kind of forgot about that, which is fine, like as if people need to remember who I am. But but yeah, so some people still remember and just assume that there's a sketchbook going from table to table. It probably belongs to Tim McEwen. But there was one year at Supernova where Alisha Jade was a guest and was being flown around to every event or almost every event. So there would have been a tour where Alisha was in both cities,
Right.
but I don't know which ones because the tours were normally done in doubles. And she was adamant that she would draw in it both times. And I go, no, I don't want to take your time drawing it again. But she said, no, this is the thing to do. So she
Yeah.
drew in it both times. And then I'm pretty sure that sketchbook did two tours. So she was in it four times and possibly six times for the year. So that would really have put her
Yeah.
ahead of a lot of other people.
The
So yeah,
old Tim McEwen sketchbook floater.
that's it.
And
It's
now
not like the
Danny
Bondi
Best,
floater.
Danny Best's sketchbooks have all these cartoons with the characters saying "fuck off, Tim" and all that kind of stuff directed at you. And yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
Mm.
Now,
So
Alicia
there you go.
Jade was the recipient of what was the initiative that Supernova started? It was named
Yeah,
after
I can't quite.
a flower, was it? A native
The Banksia.
Banksia. Well, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
And if I was to really say, I would say it was Alisha that instigated that and
Right.
presented
Okay.
it to Supernova and said, would you be interested in doing this, rather than the other way around?
Yeah. Right.
And
Gotcha.
that would have been at that point that she was doing all of the conventions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Back to
Wonderful
Dean.
Comics. They used to make, Wonderful Comics. I think now they just like to grow, like be off grid and grow their own plants and food and, be self-sufficient and stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful person. Beautiful
Yes.
person. Yeah.
Dean, speaking of beautiful people,
Yes.
did you read his social media during the week about his visit to Westgrove Primary?
Oh, with the fan mail.
I'm going to read it.
Yes, go ahead.
If AI can scrape Facebook for artwork, the Club Damingo can scrape Facebook feeds for some commentary. So,
I think that's right.
I've got it here. I'm going to read it out. This is Dean from Dean's Facebook feed, and it was last Friday he posted this, and I thought just reading it completely is just so beautiful. So I'm going to try and do it completely. I'm not going to try and imitate Dean's deep gravelly voice because I can't do that.
I've got a big enough beard.
It's hard to put into words my experience at Westgrove Primary yesterday. Now, Westgrove is a primary school in Victoria, and Dean was doing book week. He was doing lots of cartooning workshops right across the week, and he's doing more this week as well. He does them a lot. So it's hard to put into words my experience at Westgrove Primary yesterday. The senior school had done all these projects about my life. They were incredibly detailed. One student had even done an entire comic about me. They were just extraordinary. They'd also been studying, I'm reading that the wrong way. They've also been studying death metal emo elves. This is the books that Dean writes and illustrates. And I mean studying. They knew more about the stories than I did. The senior school teachers show me that they dressed as death metal emo elves for the book week parade. And hilariously, one student came as me to the parade, complete with beard and bald cap. She came dressed as me to one of my workshops yesterday and kept saying she was the real Dean Rankin and I was Timu Dean Rankin, which I think is absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
So when it's just me in the studio, I often wonder if I'm having any kind of impact on the world. Then you have an experience like yesterday and it's hard to comprehend. It's incredibly humbling. So thanks to Lamont Authors for booking my book week events, Redback Publishing for publishing Death Metal Emo Elves, and Westgrove Primary for being just so awesome. So I thought that was worth reading out because that doesn't happen very often where you would have an event like that going to a primary school in Australia and being such a focus and having such an impact on the students the way Dean has.
Yeah, beautiful. Fantastic. So glad to hear it.
Well done, Dean. So,
yeah, wonderful.
And he wonders whether he's having any impact.
Yeah.
Dean Rankin.
Wow.
I wonder if that'll stick. I think we might have to make it stick.
Yeah, we should have a little Dean. Those that don't know, there's a little 3D print of Dean that travels with him. Yeah. Little Dean, and next to that should be little emo Dean.
Yeah. have you had anything?
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Have you had anything similar happen to you in your lecturing or in your history of general public interaction?
Not so much my lecturing. There was a period where the place I worked, JMC Academy, made quite a fuss about my involvement with one of the large comic conventions and to make it look like it was worth coming and learning under that person. Not that had anything to do with animation or drawing or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, every so often as a student would go, oh, really? You're involved with that? Blah blah blah. So not that big a deal. But there was a those that don't know, let me see if I can pull out the first issue where they appear. In Greener Pastures #3, Trevor makes friends and gets somewhere to live. Makes friends, makes housemates, and has somewhere to live. And makes friends with Colin McEwen and Caesar, who I don't know if we're ever going to give him a last name. I'm sure Michael's got a last name for him. But yeah, Colin and Caesar.
Caesar's a great character.
Yeah, thank you. So Caesar is huge impetus in issue 8. He's like the reason for the adventure that issue. Colin Colin and Caesar there, and Caesar dressed as Caesar. So
Césaire.
yeah, and Caesar, in days past, you might have said, is quite a flamboyant man. He's
Yes.
as gay as the day is long, and we don't make too big a deal about it. Although, like I said, the whole reason for issue 8 is that Caesar wants to go somewhere dressed in drag and all of this stuff. But he's just one of the characters. It's not. We try not to make Caesar the token gay. Like I guess is the best way to phrase it. There, he's not a token gay. He's one of the, at that point especially, 3 main characters, and is much more than token anything. So there's that, right? And we just love Caesar in the story, Michael and I. But it was maybe 5 years ago, maybe a bit longer, I don't know. But somebody that was, we were following each other on Instagram, an artist who makes comics sometimes and comics adjacent art, and was wanting to do, I think they were going to do like a tarot card set, and wanted to use some of the Greener Pastures characters or Trevor in it or something like that.
Yep.
And I said, go for it, because the art's amazing, really good fun, looks really interesting. And then they wrote me quite a lovely note in Instagram, like a direct message to me, saying that I'm sorry if this is a story people have heard before, because I've said this at conventions a couple of times and maybe already on air, I don't know. But they wrote to say how important it was when they read those issues of Greener Pastures that there was an obviously gay character, but not a tokenistic gay character in the story, and this person just living in rural Australia, and that's where a lot of our readers came from, because Greener Pastures, like all of those comics in the 90s, were being distributed through newsagents, so it was sometimes the only comics that they got. And to read a comic like that, which was based in Australia and sitting in this little rural town where they didn't think there was anyone else like them, at least in their town, to just see that, just like, it really meant an enormous amount to them. And it really meant an enormous amount to me to have somebody say that after all of these years. It was really important. So people take on board what you create, and it may be one person, it may be more than one, but it's like it's everything. Every word and picture you do is important, because maybe this will happen. So
and it hits when you least expect it, in an unknown way, until you get this feedback at different stages of your career, and it's like, wow, that actually happened. That work that I've been invested in is actually hitting the mark, and getting this kind of feedback is wonderful. I mean, I'm sure you get the same thing with that I often get, which is, I do comics because I do comics because of you, but reading Greener Pastures, made in Australia, printed in Australia, distributed in Australia, I can do this. I can do this. If he can do it, I can do it. Right? I'm sure you get a lot of that as well, which is, again, really important to that whole aspect of being seen. But when it's also like the deeper aspects of the story hit more deeply, not I just want to be a comic book artist, but there's themes and characters that hit more deeply, then that's a really important thing. Speaking of which, I actually have a point here that I was going to raise, that I've been making a lot of notes and writing lately of the werewolf story that I'm working on. And it seems to me that it will be very hard writing a time-dependent monthly superhero comic or a regular comic as a writer, because there are ideas that only happen with enough time for it to seem to be developed enough to be inserted into the story. There's a couple of things that I thought of just last night that it was like, of course, that could mean that, and that scene can be inserted there, and that makes so much more sense now. Like, if I had produced that a month ago, that opportunity for that
wouldn't have been in there.
Wouldn't have been in there. But now the whole thing has become a little bit more rounded and a little bit more well plotted, and that happens to me a real lot. And so I always keep on thinking like, geez, imagine if I was on a monthly, writing Daredevil or Batman or something like that, and the time to cook a story isn't there. Yeah, I don't know how people like Tom Taylor and the people that do write at that level master that kind of thing, or whether there is any regret after the fact of, oh, geez, that was mishandled, and I've now thought of a great idea that would have served that story better. But yeah, just was worth mentioning that in writing, I always find that, well, for my stories anyway, that the longer I leave it, the more well-rounded and well-developed they become, like baking a cake.
Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. But that's a skill set, I guess, for that type of creator. That if you don't have it, you're not going to be creating the stories at the level that the fans might want, or the publisher might want, or you yourself might want. Yeah, it's definitely a different skill set. Plus, it's different also in that if you're on a title long enough, you get to do that really long form storytelling with foreshadowing that means nothing to anybody until they reread it, in context of what's happened 3 years later to that same character or whatever.
That's the trick, though, staying on a title long enough without getting the editors, pulling the rug out from under you. Yeah, that's the strength of self-publishing. If you can afford to keep on doing it, you can afford to tell those longer, more intricate stories and let everything breathe a little bit. Yeah,
exactly. No, totally. Well, good on you. Good to hear.
Yeah, there's a couple of really good things that I had to dash upstairs to make notes before I forget things. And it really does flesh out certain aspects of the story. As there's one, which was really good, quite a powerful scene that I was wondering what to do, and didn't have any solutions for it. It all came rushing in all of a sudden, and I had to act on it straight away. So it's now I'm going very well with the story now. It's getting tighter and tighter as we go. So
fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's amazing how those ideas come to you. Your subconscious is definitely working away at stuff on a pretty regular basis, right?
Yeah, that's what I put it down to. Yeah, you've said several times that you're always percolating your brain, and I'm sure that's right across the board. It's nothing new as far as the creative brain is concerned, but just that percolating in the background, and all of a sudden, ping!
Yeah. Subconscious knocks on the door and goes, "Hey, I've got it now. Quick, write this down. I don't keep these very, very well. Right. It's all very mercurial."
Yeah. I've also been noticing your bright coloured T-shirt there. Can you explain what you're wearing today, what your ensemble is?
It's Pop something company, company maybe. And I think it's pretty sure it's a T-shirt. It's a skateboarding brand. I've got this one in black, and I've got one also in white, a different design in white, but I didn't buy it because I'm a skateboarder. I leave that to cooler people like Louis Joyce and Pat Grant, people who are a lot smarter than me on 4 wheels or more. No, I bought it because the artist, the cartoonist, is Joost Swarte, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
That's pretty good enough, I reckon.
I should look it up. I've got a video where people talk to him, so I'm sure they're pronouncing his name properly. Actually, I think I sent you in that little package of videos a couple of months ago. I think I've got a little 10-minute thing with him. Yeah, he's one of my favorite artists, and he's from the Netherlands. And
is he still kicking, or is he a senior citizen?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been around
he's a national treasure. He's a national treasure over there. Really important artistic person in all sorts of ways. He designs buildings, and he does stained glass windows, and he's been on their stamps. And but he's been making comics, I think, since the 70s, maybe late 70s, early 80s, and just really beautiful, mostly clear line. European clear line sort of stuff. And as I said to you earlier, from what I know, he's the person who came up with that term, the clear line style, which is what's given to Tintin's Hergé as a style, the clear line. Because the Hergé and Tintin are like his huge influences. If you ever get a chance to buy anything of his, whether it's in French or German or English, I know Fantagraphics have reprinted at least one of his collections. But the first time I bought him was in the 80s, and it was in French, and I just was looking at the pictures because it's just incredible.
He was also
beautiful design. Just everything is just so exquisitely designed and placed, and yeah.
He's been published in Heavy Metal Heaps or Metal Hurlant.
Yeah, all sorts of things like that. He's hugely revered over there.
And one of his characters, the guy with the big pompadour, what's his name?
That's him.
Is that him there?
Yeah, Jojo de Pojo or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, that's like his go-to character for commentary and stupid adventures and fun and and recently, because he's a designer, his lettering, his typography, a lot of it is custom made, and it's just beautiful, all of that stuff. But he designs anything, like I said, he'll design a building. He's not an architect, but he'll design a building and then work with architects and engineers so I think it's their State Theatre, not the Opera House. Maybe it's the Opera House. It has been designed by him, and it's beautiful.
Wow. And
so all of that stuff. But he actually designed 2 pairs of frames for spectacles recently. And I was going, oh my God, I've got to buy those spectacles as a spectacle wearer. But they were so expensive, like
I can imagine
$800 just for the frames, and you can only buy them from this one boutique frame house, and they were very happy to sell them to me, which is great, but they're just far too expensive. Right. But one of the things he did, like coming up close, please don't scream, little children. You see on the frames, I've got those 2 little dots, right?
Yeah.
Which are basically supposed to be the screws, right, that hold the arms on. So that section, he put 2 little quotation marks instead. Like he designed the shape and all of that. And there's 2 sets of shapes, but he put 2 little quotation marks because
Isn't
it's
that
like,
lovely?
This is how you speak. You speak through your eyes. And my God, he's a genius. Can I please? So if anybody needs to get me a very expensive Christmas present, there you go. Buy me a set of frames, and I'll get the lenses put in them.
And what was the business? Frame House.
Beautiful.
Is it Haus? Frame House?
No. It should be. I can't remember what they're called. I'd have to relook it up. But Swarte, spectacle design, whatever. So he's a bit of a hero. Have I got any of his stuff here? I don't think I do. But yeah, beautiful. The problem I bought stuff from him, from Europe, and it was in the Europe album size, beautiful reproduction, etc. And then Fantagraphics finally, let's rag on Fantagraphics and their size of publication again.
Don't get me started.
Fantagraphics were publishing or republishing most of that exact material and other stuff I hadn't seen, all in English, and I bought it immediately, and it came and it was in comic book size. I'm going, what are you doing, Fantagraphics?
Slack.
They do other stuff at the larger size. I know.
Is his character's name?
Like, it really is.
Is his character's name Freddie Lombard?
Oh, no. I think that's somebody else. This is Jojo de Pogo.
Right, okay. Just the name just came into my head then, and someone Lombard, I'm sure. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I know the character you're talking about, but that's a different French or not French
right.
creator. Might be a Belgian creator.
Euro creator.
Yeah.
What was my... I was going to make a point of congratulating a couple of projects that have passed their funding status in Kickstarter as well while you're doing your research about Joost Swarte. Pop Culture and 2 Minute Doodles got funded and got finalised as well, so that was over the line. So congratulations to Dylan Naylor and Jeremy McPherson and Nat Carmichael and the Comic Oz team. So looking forward to getting that when it's all... I think they've already had it printed. He pressed the button on that a couple of weeks ago. So
cool.
Winging its way towards the backers soon. So hopefully that'll be very successful in bookstores as well further down the track.
Brilliant.
And Beau Jardine he's pushing his Nightside issues 4 and 5, and that's been cleared with their goal as well. So He's going
Fantastic.
strength to strength with his 9-issue series of Nightside, and he's over halfway now. So it's on the downhill run to getting his 9 issues done and out the door. And of course, if you hop onto the Nightside Kickstarter site, you can get the early issues as well. So
yes,
that whole, I don't know whether it's an experiment, but that whole process of releasing 9 issues fairly quickly and having the early issues available at any stage, so you can jump on at any stage and buy the whole thing so far.
How often has he been doing the Kickstarters? Bi-monthly or?
I think the fastest ones were about 6 weeks between issues. I think,
geez,
pretty fast. And then the latest one, he had 4 and 5 being sold together as a single unit. So I think he might be doing that again. I don't know. I don't have any secrets. But if they're doing it once and it's been quite successful, I'm sure maybe 6 and 7 might be, kickstarted together as well.
Cool.
But, chugging along.
More power to him. Yeah, rock on.
And I don't really keep across all of the Kickstarter projects because there are so many of them now. But because they're friends and family, I do keep in touch with the other big ones like Dylan and Bo. And I know that Jason Paulos, as well as pushing his Amazon store, he's set up an Amazon store for his Eek collections, or Eek collections with 3 or 4 E's in the name. So do a search on Amazon for Jason Paulos and you'll get to his store if you want to buy some of his stuff as well. Because I know that
sounds like a pretty smart way to do things, right? Because it's just print on demand, and Amazon have got it sorted. You can print it anywhere in the world.
That's right. You just have to be careful of things like making sure that their rules are followed as far as bleed and trim size and image area and things like that. So there might need to be some compromises made if you had some tricky artwork that you want to emulate in an Amazon edition. But, once you get around those hurdles, certainly having access to a world market is, very interesting. Speaking of which, that's a nice segue to another point that I was going to make about postage into the US, posting stuff to the US. Let me just open up my phone, which I have already bookmarked. The Associated Press has run an article just yesterday saying European postal services suspend shipment of packages to US over tariffs. I don't know whether you're across this or not. The end of an exemption on tariff duties for low-value packages coming into the United States is causing multiple international postal services to pause shipping as they await more clarity on the rule. The exemption, known as the de minimis exemption, allows packages worth less than $800 to come into the US duty-free. A total of 1.36 billion packages were sent in 2024 under this exemption for goods worth 64.6 billion, according to data from the US Customs and Border Patrol Agency. This is set to expire on Friday. On Saturday, postal services around Europe announced that they are suspending the shipment of many packages to the United States amid confusion over new import duties. Postal services in Germany, Denmark, Sweden and Italy said they will stop shipping most merchandise to the US effective immediately. France and Austria will follow on Monday. The UK's Royal Mail said it would halt shipments to the US on Tuesday to allow time for those packages to arrive before duties kick in. Items originating in the United Kingdom worth over $100, including gifts to friends and family, will incur a 10% duty, it said. So I don't know what Australia Post is doing, but the Europeans have been fairly staunch about their no more sending stuff to the US. So I don't know how that will trickle down as far as all different kinds of things. So it's a big...
I know. Have I mentioned this already? Like some of the people I follow on Instagram who are Artist Alley people who do more than just comics, make a lot of their living from selling stuff internationally. And a lot of them are just pausing their sales to America, like just pausing their sales, not like making sure that they can't take any sales in case all of this is unwieldy.
And if you think part of the solution, and it is for some people, is to set up a print outlet in the States so that it's like a domestic product. There are problems like paper stocks there and matching what you've done locally with what can be done over in the States, and tariffs on paper stocks and stuff that the American printers have to pay tariffs on. That might affect your costing as well. And it might be too much of a hassle to try and estimate a unit price safely with the American situation in so much flux that those costs will be varying all the time. So it might be easier all round to press pause on the US until things, shake out a little bit more.
Yeah. Huge upheaval in all sorts of ways for us working internationally.
Indeed. So it's a unique, never to be encountered before kind of situation where you have the situation for publishers or anything to do with importing into a country that is affected the way it is. It's quite sad.
Yeah. Unprecedented, you might say.
Unprecedented, without going into too much politics.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, indeed. And that's about that's all of my notes done. And on the back here is my notes that I ran upstairs to do about my plots, which if you freeze frame, you could read what they were.
Are you activating some of what we discussed last week after we stopped recording?
Which element?
Well, after we stopped recording. It was. We had a big kind of discussion about. Again, it was a bit about tokenism and girlfriends and freezers and stuff like that.
Oh yes, yeah.
That's all.
That's all part fruitful. Of the. That's been very fruitful. Yes. Again, viewers, or as you say, kiddies. It's all about mulling over a plot until it's just right, and being accepting of changes and looking at something that's not working and not moving forward with it until it's right. And because I'm in a situation where I can afford to spend the time on massaging this and getting advice and talking to people like Tim as to, is this obvious to you? It's starting to be obvious to me that this isn't the way to go, and you get advice from people you trust, and the whole thing becomes stronger and better for it. So it's always good to put your work out for a bit of a review with people that you trust their opinions of, or you at least have a good relationship with, to be able to argue your point and see how the dice land.
Exactly. Cool. Very good.
So that's about it then for this week.
All right. So let me backtrack a little bit.
No, that's about it for this week.
You were talking about Yves Chaland regarding Freddie Lombard.
Freddie Lombard. I got the character wrong. I just got the artist wrong.
Yeah. But again, it's like it's that long reach of Hergé and Hergé's Tintin, that really long reach, because you can absolutely see that Freddie Lombard is Freddie Lombard really just supposed to be an older Tintin? Was that the beginning of that character? That's what it looks like to me.
He's got really baggy pants.
Yeah,
and pointy shoes.
It's beautifully drawn. Again, it's beautifully drawn. All of that stuff is so great. While Joost's character, no, I can't find it. Jopo Di Poggio is the name of the character on my T-shirt, and the character that is kind of like a little bit of a mascotty type character.
Right. Okay.
Jopo Di Poggio. Which again, not really said with the right accent, I'm sure. And Joost Swarte, if you want to look him up, kiddies at home, is Joost Swarte. And I believe that's not his real name. I think that's a pseudonym, because I believe it means white black. Joost Swarte is white black.
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
If you're, and the thing is, right, I'm actually, you know what, you ready for an unpopular opinion? I'm not that big a fan of Tintin and Hergé. Like, I really am not. Are you, Gary? Like, is that a big
recording? Stopping fucking recording. Oh, I had words with you.
And then setting fire to McEwen. But I actually like a lot of what came after, and the so in Svarte's circumstance, like the refining down to something that was even more geometric and more cleanly lined, and more, that for some reason, like, that really floats my boat. And most of the time when I see an artist who I really like, I like to see who their influences were, because more often than not, I'm going to really like what it was that was setting a fire under them as well. But
Yeah. Interesting.
Tintin for me is a bit like Sandman and Doctor Who and things like that, where people said you've got to like it, you've got to read it, you've got to watch it, and it's all kind of like, I really tried really hard with all of those and went, it's not quite for me, and maybe just not then. If I start reading again now, maybe I'll finally be mature enough to understand what Tintin is all about.
Yeah, interesting. Because I've been thinking a lot about the 6-panel grid and 9-panel grid of American comics as well, and the history of superheroic layouts and dynamic layouts, and going back to what you could get away with in the newspaper comic strip and the Prince Valiant layouts, where you'd have large panels but no word balloons or dialogue balloons. You'd have the text written underneath each of the panels. And that's how things have developed over the years, and how the superhero lexicon of loud page design, which is a reflection of the action that's being described, has also brought up the problem of, I can't read comics, they're too hard to understand. I can't follow them on the page, they're too loud and noisy, and how that's a byproduct of the superhero comic, but it's not necessarily... it could be the reason why comics are seen as difficult to intake visually, because the artists have to be very skilled in how to follow your eye around the page and go from panel 1 to panel 6 or whatever. But that problem is kind of resolved in a simple 9-panel grid or a 6-panel grid, where you just go, the Western eye anyway, top left to bottom right. And so you can, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And how mature comics tend to mature or targeting mature readers tend to not be as bombastic as the superhero comics that are aimed at teen readers that are looking for that kind of visual excitement. Love and Rockets is fixed panel grid, but superhero comics from DC and Marvel, they tend to be more complex layouts. So I've been thinking about that a lot.
Are you thinking that you might be heading towards more simply laid out panel grids, so that we'll concentrate more on character and dialogue when we're as readers?
And you can see me dabbling in that with the Adventure Illustrated stories that I've done as well, is that a lot of that is predicated on a 6-panel grid as a basic framework. And while I do break that every now and then, it's basically been my superstructure underneath the comics page.
So going back again to, I know I talk about it a lot, but Greener Pastures #8, because it was a jam comic, I sent to every jamee or jammer a layout, a thumbnail layout of what the page needed to get done. And I told everybody, you don't need to follow that. You don't have to follow my layout. You just need to make sure that it starts where it starts and ends where it ends, so that it will link to the previous and following pages. So as an example, that spread there, Jason Chatfield on the right, on the left, and John Sommeriver on your right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. So Jason Chatfield basically followed my layout exactly, while John Sommeriver did something really wild and is so much better than what I did. He put together a couple of panels. Did he do that twice on one page? 2 on one panels he was able to create into one panel, and he's got that great breaking of the panel with Trevor in the foreground and Caesar in the background. So great. And he said that to me when we were having a drink after a convention. He said, I haven't done your page yet, but it's on the list. And is it okay if I don't follow your shitty layout? Like, he basically said that. He said, because I'm going to do something that's much more Sommeriver. And I went, yes, please do that. And you did something similar on your page as well. That breaking of the panel where
there is a time and a place for it. Just have to be very aware of it.
So much better, in both of those cases. That's Carmelo on your opposite page there. But yes, that's Gary's page there and Camilo's page there.
And when you're handing out these pages to various artists, they want to be able to do something beyond your stinky layouts, just to show that there's only one page, so they want to make the best of it.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because it's a jam issue, everybody is taking it on as if this is my only chance to make an
Yeah,
impact.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think Carmelo did something similar with his. I can't quite remember. But your page, I'm pretty sure that the layout I gave you was just a 6-panel grid. Um,
And how many have I got
uh,
there? One, two, three. How many
one,
panels
two,
that
three,
essentially?
four. Well, it's five, including the
Yeah,
floating figure.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but so yeah, you were more efficient as well, and much more dynamic. So
And how
much better.
fast was I? How
You were
fast was I?
you were not the first one in, but you close to it.
Close to it. Jeez, I was fast.
You were so fast. But yeah, so other people just followed my stuff almost directly. I think Mark Sexton's page
Yeah,
was like halfway between following what I did, but
right.
also just really
Yeah.
jagging it up and making it something. And it's Michael Michelandis' daughter
Wow.
doing that one there, and she actually went well outside of what I drew and really made something interesting out of it
Right.
as well. So
Yeah, no, she
yeah,
never liked
really
you.
it was a really
That
interesting
was a joke.
project for
That was a
for
joke.
for that. Sorry, what did you say? You
I
you
said
having a
she's never
crack at
liked
me?
you.
That's that's true. P has never liked me. No, that's not true at all. So yes, that was one of the really exciting aspects of doing that, is to see what people did with my thing. And in fact, I had the pencils only issue. You might remember I did a
Hmm.
pencils only
Yep,
issue,
yep, yep.
and they're all gone. I thought I'm crazy printing this. Nobody will want them, but I've sold almost a lot. I've got a couple left in the cupboard. I think one's for you, and
Who
but
needs his stinking inks?
that's right. No, exactly. Who does? So I think I might reprint that because it looks like it's got legs and slow legs, but legs
Yep,
nonetheless.
yep, yep.
Nonetheless.
And the other thing, whether it works or not, but it's a factor in those jam issues, is that you've got two artists on a double spread, almost working against each other because they don't see what's on the other page.
No,
So,
totally. Yeah.
so the whole concept of turning the page and reading top left to bottom right, and you got these two artists that haven't seen each other's work. It's just
Yeah.
a measure of surprise, and it's hit or miss whether it works or not. You just have to
Yeah.
you come into it with a certain amount of generosity and foreknowledge of each page is unto itself.
Yeah. And most readers find that by the time they're like 3 or 4 pages in, they're acclimatized
Yeah, yeah,
to the
yeah,
change in style on every page.
yeah.
Yeah. So talking some more about page layout, etc. Well, I mentioned to you that I just finished watching Lauren Marshall's new
Mm.
YouTube show,
Mm.
Sketchbiz. So it's worth looking at, kiddies at home. She's 3 proper episodes in. There's like a short introductory episode where she doesn't interview anyone, but 3 quite long interviews after that. So they're worth watching. But the latest one with her and Carmelo, who I just pointed out was the page opposite yours. At one point, they were talking about, because Carmelo is still working on sequentials rather than just doing cover work and artist alley work. And he's realizing just how difficult it is to do those layouts and make things legible and readable and flowing. And they both said, Lauren and Carmelo both said that they look at film and animation storyboards as an influence sometimes, and it's like it's a complete wrong thing to do as far as I'm concerned. You shouldn't
That's
be looking at
interesting.
storyboards. It's a completely different language,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah,
think it gets in the way of creatively thinking about the page if you're only thinking in filmic storyboards instead.
yeah,
I again, Mark Sexton, I think is incredible because he can see both ways of visually telling a story. It's just incredible because they are completely different sets of skills to do one well and then the other well as well. So yeah, I actually I love watching film and thinking about the editing and the
yeah,
storyboarding
yeah,
and the camera angles,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I try to um, wash myself out of a lot of that when I sit to do thumbnails for comics for
Yeah,
sure.
it's a different
They're
set of
different.
muscles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just finally on movies, and one that I saw recently that I was really impressed with, that I've been doing a YouTube deep dive about the behind the scenes and the plot structure, is Hereditary. Have you seen that at all?
No.
It's an amazing one by Ari
Who's that
Aster,
with?
Tony Collette, and Gabriel Byrne.
Right. Is it a horror movie? Sounds like a horror movie.
It's a horror
It's
movie.
Psycho.
Yeah. And
Cool.
it's amazing. I saw it for the second time last weekend with a friend, and it's just pretty trippy and beautifully crafted and so well written and very dense. The writing of it is from one person's point of view. So he's a writer director, and he just covered all the bases. And it's very dense with its storytelling technique.
Cool.
Something you probably wouldn't get if there was more of a writer director combo.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was able to put his thoughts straight from A to B. But Hereditary. He was the guy that did Midsummer as well, or Midsummer.
Yeah. I've got to do like his whole thing, because I don't know that I don't think I've watched any of his. I haven't seen Midsummer, so yeah, I'm missing out. I know for sure.
Another one to put on the list.
I know. You want to know what I have been watching recently? I watched a television show. No, that's you, man. You know that. I watched The Bridge, which is a Swedish-Danish television show, a cop drama
about the body on the bridge.
Yeah. Did I talk about this on air last week, or just to you? I don't want to be repeating myself. No? Yeah, there's the bridge that joins those two countries. There's a body on the halfway mark, and a dead body, and that's the beginning of the cop case, and why a Swedish and a Danish, it is Danish, Denmark. Yeah. So, a cop from Denmark and a cop from Sweden, they have to work together. But really, those two cops, such great characters. They're really cool characters. One of them is on the spectrum, and the other one is not. So it's like a bit of that kind of interplay. But it doesn't feel like that whole tokenistic thing or taking advantage of somebody who's on the autism spectrum. It's just like really well. That's right. Which one is which?
We'll leave that up to the kiddies.
That's right. So yeah, it's really cool, and I miss both the characters a lot. I think there's 3 or 4 seasons, and I only watched the first season because that was the done in one story. Right. But it looks to me like it was so successful that they just went and made some more seasons after that. I'll probably watch the second season and see if it continues to hold
another body on another bridge halfway.
Well, see, that's
serial killer. It's a serial killer, and that's his method. That's his MO.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that they made an English version of it called The Tunnel?
I was going to say there's an English-French version called The Tunnel. There's an American-Mexican version called The Bridge. There's a Russian version, a Greek version, a Malaysian version, and I think there's a couple more. So same idea.
There's an Australian version coming where the body is found on the border of Victoria and New South Wales in Albury, Wodonga.
Oh, right.
And it's just called Wodonga.
Yeah. Anyway, it was floating in the middle of the sea between Australia and New Zealand, the New Zealand and the West Island, the North, South, and West Island. So yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes of the English one while I was doing other work, and it was just so poor in comparison. Just the acting and the application of the character traits just didn't happen. And then I watched the last episode of that one as well to see how they tied it all up, and it was just like. And I can't see the American version anywhere online, so I haven't watched that. But it doesn't, that European one does not have the American kind of bombastic feel to the climax, which was really cool. It felt such an understated climax, and yet we're still, gasping and oohing and ahhing in that last hour. So yeah, really interesting. That kind of storytelling, that I think is a really interesting thing to look at, because it's European and very different sounding or technique, very different technique. But I don't take on their camera techniques or whatever for my comic books. But yeah, it's always great to see that interesting other storytelling, and then to compare it to what the English did, and et cetera, et cetera.
I'd imagine the Australian version, the body over the border could be rolled over. No, you have the case. No. You have the case. No. Right. There is no TV show. You have the case.
The pub's shutting. I don't want this case.
Just roll that body over. There we go. You have it. No. You have it. It's getting dirty. Yeah. If this is a crime scene, I don't care. I don't want the paperwork.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
worth watching, worth reading the subtitles for that one.
I'm going to press stop. Say
See
goodbye to
you
the
all
kitty.
later.
Thanks
See
for
you, kitties.
listening.
Bye.